Grandparents sued me for custody of my daughter, my battle for her safety. I, 30F, am the single mother of Clara, 2F. My pregnancy wasn't planned. I had a no-strings-attached relationship with her father, Jack, 30 male, for 7 months when I became pregnant unexpectedly. He lived in another state, but would visit my city monthly for business reasons, and we hit it off after meeting in a bar. We thought about our options regarding the pregnancy, but I decided to keep the baby. Jack wanted to be part of her life, so we planned to raise the baby together, but not as a couple, just co-parents. Unfortunately, Jack's passed away during my pregnancy. Jack's parents, Linda and James, knew that I was pregnant when he passed. We already had done a prenatal paternity test at the time. We were all devastated by his passing, but of course his parents were destroyed by it. Clara is their first and only grandkid, and she became their beacon of light in a dark time, as they say. They have other 2 daughters, Ruth, 37F, and Lily, 27F, but they don't have children. Ruth is trying to conceive for a long time with her husband, and Lily is child-free and single. Jack's whole family lives in another state, with the exception of Lily, that lives abroad. They have a family business, so their life is there, while I have my family and career in my current city, where I live with Clara. Since Clara was born, we have an agreement, nothing legal, but we all agreed with visitations for her grandparents and aunts. They usually visit Clara twice a month. James and Linda are the ones that visit the most, but Ruth also shows up sometimes. I really appreciate their presence on her life. Since the beginning, a point of contact on our relationship was traveling with Clara to their state. They have a big property that's in their family for over 100 years and have a family business too. In their small town, they are treated as almost royalty and wanted Clara to experience that. I understand that it's good for my daughter to know her heritage, but I always put my foot down on the idea of their traveling with her without me. I already visited their hometown 3 times with Clara since she was born, but this isn't enough apparently. Our relationship wasn't perfect. I had some issues with Linda meddling way too much on my parenting, but we were civil until I started my current relationship. I've been dating Ted, 34 meters, for almost a year, and things are tense with James and Linda. Ted and I don't live together, and he has a daughter, Marie 4F, that lives with him. Linda has expressed disapproval to his constant presence in my house, which is not true. Both of us work a lot, and between our kids and other priorities we probably see each other 3 to 4 times a week, to Marie having play dates and sleepovers with Clara, and the list go on. The woman will find a way to comment something even about Ted's car parked in front of my house. Things escalated when 2 weeks ago I emailed Linda, James and Ruth an invite for Christmas Eve. Ted and I will have a get-together with our families and close friends. I decided to invite Clara's grandparents so they can spend Christmas Eve with her, but I also let them know that if they prefer they can take her for lunch on Christmas Day. The next day Linda texted me that they already had plans to take Clara to their home on Christmas. I said that this was not happening. I didn't hear anything from her for about 2 days. Linda called me stating that she gave me 2 days to cool off and be reasonable. I asked what she meant, and she said they have rights over Clara and they had waited too much to take her home for Christmas. Now she is bigger and can travel without me. I said that this was never discussed and I will not let them travel with my daughter without even discussing with me before. Linda said this was the discussion before the travel. I laughed on the call and said she was delusional. Things escalated quickly after that. I was accused of trying to replace Jack on Clara's life. I also said some things that were a little cruel about Jack never even meeting Clara. After Linda hung up on me, James called and tried to reason with me. He let it slip that they bought Clara's plane tickets 2 months ago without asking me first. I said there's no way I would let them walk all over me. James lost his temper and demanded that I should apologize to Linda or we will go to court over this. I didn't back down and said they were choosing to fight over this, not me. Well, after some time of silence from them, I was served with court papers. They are suing me over custody of Clara and are stating I am unfit as a mother. I already have a lawyer who I consult before our fight over the phone. She told me yesterday they have almost 0 chance of getting any custody. The most they can get is visitation, but still I am worried about this becoming a legal battle. People on my life are divided. Part of them think I did nothing wrong by putting up boundaries, and others think it's petty of me to start a fight with my daughter's grandparents when I could let them travel with her for Christmas when I know they are good grandparents and will take care of her. Am I the a-hole? Some clarifications are needed. 1. How Linda and James know details about my life? How they know about Ted's car and Marie's play dates? They do live in another state, but they visit often. At least twice a month they come to see Clara, and they come to my house to pick her up and to leave her after their outings. This is how Linda realized Ted's car on the front of my driveway, since I live in a gated community, and it's forbidden this type of parking unless it's the homeowner's car. The first time she saw his car, Linda asked if I would call the security to tow the car, and I said no because it was Ted's car. They also used to FaceTime Clara 3 times a week. That's how they learned about some of her play dates and sleepovers with Marie. They called when Marie was still at the house with Clara and saw her. 2. They expected my toddler to travel alone on a plane? No. I think I couldn't explain well enough. James said they would travel to my city, take Clara with them on the plane to their state, and after a week they would bring her back. She was never supposed to travel alone, for what they were planning. 3. Do I believe they were going to kidnap my daughter? I don't know. I think it's possible. Some comments made me paranoid, to be honest. James said they bought her tickets back, but I don't think I should trust him without proof. Their word means nothing now. 4. Do I still have contact with them? No, my lawyer advised me to cut all visits, video calls with Clara and only communicate with my daughter's grandparents through our lawyers. They are not blocked on my phone, but I will not receive any call from them. If they text me or email me, I'll have it sent to my lawyer. Trust me, today was all about making an FU binder and documenting every little thing. Thank you a lot for the advice, guys. And don't worry much, Clara and I live in a very secure community, with cameras and armed security. Nobody will take her from me. Update. Hey, I posted my story here some months ago and was surprised about how this blew up fast, not only on Reddit but also on other apps. I was not sure if I should post an update, since I was fearing being doxxed, and also I received a ton of hate through messages and people reposting my story bullying me and wishing for me to lose my daughter's custody. About the possibility of doxing, I talked to my lawyer and showed her my post, and she said that I could update if I keep the fake names and don't give up on personal details. Until now, nobody in my life has discovered my post, which makes sense since English isn't our country's first language. Having said that, I like to also preface that my grammar and writing skills on English aren't the best, since this is my second language, but I was truly appalled about how many people attacked me for it. Some people said that I must be an alcoholic to commit as many grammar mistakes and that I deserve to lose my daughter for being a drunk, which is not true. I don't drink. I know the internet can be toxic, but some people are willing to go too far to bully others. This is very low. I just hope everyone that criticized my writing skills have better knowledge than I have while learning other language. When you guys start to speak or write in a second language, I hope you don't meet someone like yourselves, who will bully you for not writing exactly in the proper way when it's not even your mother language. More than 2 months has passed, and a lot has happened since. My life was really chaotic for some weeks, and I felt that I couldn't celebrate Christmas the way I truly wanted because I was constantly worried about the custody lawsuit. I am relieved to say now that this is over. Also, to the ones worried about Clara, I thank you guys for being so gentle. TBH, I think more people were nice and gentle than bullies, so I am truly thankful for your well wishes, from the bottom of my heart. Clara is healthy and happy. Luckily nobody tried anything to take her from me. I know a lot of you said they could try to kidnap her. I'm still worried about it, but nothing has happened. After I made my post, I spent several days working with my lawyer, my family, and even with the home security company I hired to ensure that Clara was safe, all my security cameras were working, and that I had all the documentation needed for court. My lawyer and I prepared tons of documentation about me, Clara, and even got the backlogs of visitation in my gated community that proves that Ted has never spent the night here. My family were very aware about my fears of kidnapping, and they made sure to always be around us. I have to thank you guys for the incredible advices I got. I don't want to put too much weight on talking about haters, because 90% of comments and messages were truly nice and caring. I tried my best to listen to my lawyer and many things you guys said we could do to ensure our safety. Not only that, but I talked to Clara's pediatrician, pediatric dentist, swimming teacher, even my parents' church where Clara sometimes goes to the kids' classes. They are aware of the lawsuit and that nobody should give up information about Clara or me, under no circumstances. They are all on the same page and are giving us support and being understanding. Some people also advised me to speak to Clara's aunts to know if they are aware of the lawsuit and the possibility that their parents could try to take my daughter. I was not sure about how to do this. My lawyer said that I could try to communicate with them, but all via text or email. Before I could do this, Lily, Jack's younger sister that lives in Europe, texted me to ask if I had received Clara's Christmas gifts she sent through mail. I saw this as an opportunity and wrote a text explaining what was happening with her parents. Lily said she had no idea about the lawsuit or that they wanted to take Clara for Christmas and fly with her on a plane. She said that she would speak with Ruth and ask her about this, since Ruth at the time was very distant from their family group chat. A day later, Lily and Ruth created a group chat to talk to me. They asked to have a video call with me. I said I had to talk to my lawyer first. My lawyer agreed to me doing the call, if they let me record it to make sure nothing would be used against me. Both agreed, and we had a video call that was enlightening to me. Ruth apologized to me for being absent from our lives over the last months. She was dealing with many personal issues, but had happy news to share. Ruth went through her third IVF round and as of now she is around 22 weeks pregnant with her first child. She kept everything quiet, just Ruth and her husband Sam knew about the IVF proceedings and the pregnancy. She said this was because Linda used to put too much pressure and stress over her the other times they tried IVF. Ruth was distancing herself from things that raised her anxiety levels, and her mom was a main source of anxiety. Her pregnancy is a good news, but didn't surprise me, since I knew she was trying for a baby. I'm happy she finally was able to conceive. Here I have to explain that Linda is what people call boy mom. She never got along with her daughters. I had an inkling about that, but since I was not close to them, I had no idea about how bad her relationship with her daughters were. They just seemed distant and James was closer to their daughters. Ruth swore that she didn't know about the lawsuit until Lily called her the day before. That after this, she talked to her dad and to his best friend, who's a lawyer, to understand what's going on. She was surprised that James' friend didn't know anything about the lawsuit, since he is usually the lawyer representing him. James, on the other way, tried to divert the subject when Ruth asked, but she pressured him, and eventually he folded and told her everything. James claims that he didn't want to sue me, but Linda's mental health has deteriorated to a point that he feared for her well-being. The only thing that could make her get out of bed is Clara and the thought of having her around. He ignored that this makes Linda the one who's not fit to raise a child, not me. His plan was to pressure me with the lawsuit, in order to make me to accept a better deal of visitation for them. They wanted more days with her and to be able to travel with her to their home multiple times a year. James never said that they wanted to keep her forever, but I am not trusting on his words. My trust is shattered. Ruth and Sam tore James a new one for suing me over custody to manipulate me and for not forcing Linda to go to therapy. He claimed Linda doesn't accept the idea of going to see a therapist, as she is not crazy, and said that she would not go under no circumstance. Ruth had to threaten James that if he didn't withdraw the lawsuit and get the help Linda and him need, she will go no contact and resign from the family business. She was very worried about the idea of them doing the same to Sam in case she dies, and their child is left with her husband. James kind of broke after this and caved to Ruth's demands. After my call with Ruth and Lily, I was under the knowledge that the lawsuit would be terminated. Unfortunately, in my country from the 20th of December until 20th of January the courts are on break. They only deal with emergency cases, mine wasn't. Their lawyer reached out to mine to talk about the end of the lawsuit and about writing a visitation agreement that the family court would approve. We agreed to work on this, but I would only sign any visitation agreement after they had withdrawn their lawsuit for custody and only if they agree to follow my rules. For what I know, after being pressured by her whole family, Linda eventually accepted to start therapy and she is seeing a psychiatrist and a therapist. She was diagnosed with depression and PTSD related to Jack's death. I know this because my lawyer demanded that her doctors had to put an evaluation of Linda's mental state in order on our legal agreement for me to accept a visitation deal with Clara's grandparents. I never said here, but Jack's death was sudden and violent. He was a victim of a robbery gone wrong. All of us were shocked about his passing, but Linda and James took the brunt of it. I always felt that they didn't mourn enough, since they switched their attention to my pregnancy few weeks after his passing, and I was right to think that. In our visitation agreement I also demanded that both James and Linda have to go through grief counseling, to which they agreed a number of sessions. Me, James and Linda are attending virtual family therapy for the first months of our agreement, to make sure we are on a healthy space to deal with our relationship and put Clara's well-being first. Regarding to this I have nothing to complain, they accepted my terms pretty easily. They did try to fight against the idea of supervised visitation, but I had no reason to accept otherwise. Now they will visit Clara twice a month on a family center in my city. This is something my country has, is a public building where things related to custody of minors and family problems regarding custody are handled. They have very good security there. Those visits will be supervised by a social worker who was assigned our case by the judge that signed our visitation agreement. About my fears of kidnapping, I have to say I didn't felt validated by my country laws. Basically me and my lawyer went to a police station and we did an occurrence about the possible kidnapping. They didn't seem to take this serious and as of now they will not press charges. At least there's paperwork regarding my fears. James ended up sending my lawyer Clara's planes tickets to proof they bought her 2 tickets and were not planning on staying with her. Since they have money, I don't think it would be hard for them to bought a ticket back knowing they will not use it. So I am still not trusting or believing them. I don't have plans of letting them visit Clara without supervision. Even their aunts know that to see Clara they will have supervision too. Everyone is accepting this right now and the visits have started over a couple of weeks ago. Let's see what happens in the future. I also don't intend on traveling to their state or city in the near future. I am truly scared about the chances of they using their power to take my daughter, so I will not make it easier for them. Thank you again for the help and well wishes. As of now Clara and her mama bear are doing well and enjoying a couple of days I have to spend quality time together and finally celebrate, since our Christmas was very stressful. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel our posts.